The main thing we decided that we would go for would be to create a whole new body of plays for young people from 5 to 18 or older, which actually had challenges within them, which were powerful, entertaining pieces of writing, which were well produced, which were at a standard that could be equal, the equal of anything else within the country, whether that was repertory theatre, television or whatsoever. And I think really within the first 5 years, by 1980, I think we achieved that.
And they left me with a pile of rubbish to clean up to. Typical,
The first 5 years, really, we spent on getting very good new plays together. Well written, well directed, well performed and designed, because we knew the sort of content of the plays would be quite radical and controversial in some of the areas we go to. We go to very rural, very conservative areas in the country, as well as to the inner city areas. So we concentrated on that. We looked at thematic areas, anti-sexism, ecology, and really that culminated in a series of peace plays, which we toured in 1981. And these did become controversial, but they weren't controversial in the schools. They were very happily accepted in conservative areas, but we did have government interference at the end of that tour, and we did have to fight off a challenge that said that these plays were biased and political. And that challenge came from Norman Tebbit, who was a senior government minister at the time. And I think we fought off that challenge because it was clear that our work was thought out, that it wasn't biased, that it was well done, that it was entertaining, and that it was done in complete cooperation with parents and teachers.
Socks up! Well, big boys don't cry, do they? Now then, stomach in, chest out, breathe in. There. Smile. There, you feel better already, don't you?
I think it's difficult approaching a subject like hidden histories in school because, as I said before, it's an area where teachers might not wish to have pursued themselves in the classroom, but it's obviously a subject that we feel very committed to and that it needs exploring. I think in schools at the moment there's so much suppression of information, whether it be on areas of gender, race or sexuality, that it's our responsibility to help pry open those sort of boxes of suppression, and the best way of doing that is to support the teachers, give them confidence to tackle these issues.
Do I take that to be a sigh of delight, Wenda? Oh, it's Wilma, miss. Oh, very well then. Wanda, Wenda, whatever your name is. Oh, now, here comes someone who I know will enjoy the lesson. Sorry I'm late, miss. Oh, that's all right, Melvin. Better late than never, eh? Now, the Wars of the Roses. They began when that's when I switched on. They fought a great battle, and a new king was put on the throne. The barons took to arms. They fought a bloody battle and the next king succeeded him. The two great forces gathered at the old king's sons and nephews joined together in intrigue and alliances. A magnificent victory He felt he had to go to war again.
I think if you're devising a play, if you're not careful, if you say, right, we're just going to devise this play, you end up with people sitting on chairs, round tables, and just talking the ideas through, talking the action through. So quite early on, I said, right, we're going to work without dialogue at all. We're going to work without words and put the action on the floor, find out what we need, distill that, then work the scenario around that. So that basically what happens is that you add words when you need them. The kids pick up on that better. The kids understand that better. And when it's important, somebody's saying something. Also, I quite like Hitchcock as a film technique. And I think that sort of area of suspense isn't used enough in children's theatre. I mean, I quite like the technique, trying to bring suspense into the play anyway, where not a word is said, and you're waiting for the next action to happen. That was an experiment about a year ago with junior kids, and what I realised was that they can be held. Even a large audience, 120, can be held by somebody reaching out to get some keys, or what's going to happen next. So in that play, Sandra reaches over to the young lad who's run away. He's run away, he's in tears. It's actually quite a long moment where a lot of things are said by the way they do it. And the kids understand exactly what's meant by that long movement, the look to them, the reach over, the hand comes out. And you can hold that for a long time.
They all said there was something wrong. I can't do sports and games. At school the friends I used to have started to call me names. I'm not like any other kid. I feel it's safe to say that I've got a secret, promise you'll keep it. Today I've run away. I've got a secret, promise you'll keep it. Today I've run away. My dad, he always treats me rough. He doesn't like my ways. My brothers, they all tease me, 'cause I never want to play. I'm not like any other kid. I feel it's safe to say that I've got a secret, promise you'll keep it. Today I run away.
I'd say that at the moment, it's absolutely important there should be all women's companies, because I think it's very important for a lot of reasons. Firstly, I think it's important to provide jobs for women, i.e. in the writing, directing, designing and acting field in a profession that's obviously very male-dominated, and also in a subsidiary way when you go round to schools. In London, it's sort of more accessible, I think, because a lot of London schools are quite assertive and quite forward-thinking in these ways. But for instance, in rural Derbyshire, or somewhere like in Cornwall and Devon, or some of the places in the north that we play at, it's really still quite parochial, so that a group of women, just the image of a group of women coming up, doing everything, driving, organising it, setting it up, having built it, having directed it, having designed it, is very important as an image for the children. And I think the main reason, obviously, that it's important to offset the bias in society and in the media, which takes boys' and men's preoccupations and attitudes to be all of our attitudes, which I don't think they are. And I think it's very important that we do plays in schools for children, which are from women's experience.
It's been good working with a group of women. I mean, that's why I joined, because I wanted to work with a group of women, because there's things that we wanted to take into schools. The image of a group of women who perform, who write the show, who build the set, who do the music, who drive the van. We felt that it was really important to take that into schools for children to see.
I mean, the way you go on, it's like there weren't any. It's like there weren't any alive when all these kings and battles were going on and that, miss. But they were. And they did things. They did good things and strong things and brave things.
I don't want to hear about a pack of stupid women. You be quiet.
You don't know. You don't know nothing about them. Lady Cleaner does. She knows. She tells me. And then I listen. She tells me about women that fought, like the Amazons and Sylvia Pankhurst. Yeah! Sylvia Pankhurst and the suffragettes fighting for the votes for women. On the buses, on the streets, chatting to railings, singing their battle march. Fight, fight, on with your song, shoulder to shoulder and on to battle.
Get down off that chair at once!
The vehicle, if you want, of a person with wings, coming down and saying, you're not odd, you're not necessarily different, you're not an outsider, you have something to say, and actually we have a sort of community here. And by the end of the play, on this tube station, there's a community.
Come on now. Oh, it's not scared. Come on, it's just like you're floating. Come on, you can. Start by jumping up. Just start by jumping. Go on, just have a go then. Come on, you can do it. Get higher than that. Yeah, see if you can get just a bit more height. You need me there. Come on, you can do it. Nothing light. Not Did you see me floating up there? I was floating. I want to go higher.
Come on in.
Oh, that's great. This is my school, high school.
See, if at first you don't succeed.
Try again. See? Let's go together.
We can all fly. Not quite all.
Oh, no, I can't fly.
Come on, mister, you was telling us.
Can't
Come on,
fly.
you can.
I can fly. I can fly.
I have a say in what happens in my working life, and I have a say in what is my contribution to, say, black children in schools. I have a say in how I project myself as a black woman on stage, and that is something that in my past life has been overlooked, that maybe because I was a woman that my black voice wasn't important.
We've got people in the company now saying, well, fine, we equal opportunities, multiracial company, feminism, gay people and so on, but it doesn't stop there. For instance, how about performers with disabilities? And how about members of administration with disabilities? Because we have none, and we have not really addressed ourselves to this question. So one of the things that's actually happening at the moment throughout this week is we are spending several days looking at what we need to do to integrate disabled people into the company. And again, you know, that is not easy, to do with access into schools, to do with the pressures of a touring company and so on. But we feel we have to challenge ourselves, that if we say we are an equal opportunity organisation, then we have to demonstrate that we are that and that we can be that.
And you don't want to do it. We'll say, well, Christ, he can do it, why can't you? You know, we are sort of booster for the able-bodied people. Yeah, you know, fair enough, they can't do it, they can feel superior. It makes them feel good.
Because, you know, there's been people interviewing, there's been people writing publicity and people sort of doing budgets and so on.
I think it was very much how I felt that able-bodied people would cope with me being disabled.
We kept on one of the initial responses at the beginning of the rehearsal period, and it was very much more fear on the part of the able-bodied actors.
At one point in the show I had to be lifted up and thrown forward. And of course this was, good God, can we do this? Will we, you know? I said, yeah, go and see what happens if I break my leg. I'll break my leg, you know? They had my permission to do it, so they threw me and I was okay. You know, that was all right.
Before we do a show and we go to a school, you've got to go in, a couple of us go in and we talk to a teacher, we find out where the toilets are, where we're performing and everything. And there are times I've been in with Joe and I've asked questions to the teacher and they've been answered back to Joe. And I just felt, you know, I wasn't being taken seriously. I mean, have you had any experience like that where you've gone in with an able-bodied person and all the information's being given to the able-bodied person except you?
Yeah. Yeah, all the time. It doesn't just happen with that. It's happened all my life, but because my mother hasn't let me sit in mass and made me do things, if I ask a question, they answer my mother. She won't answer for me. She will look to me.
I think that this work is grossly underknown, in a sense, as you say, under-acknowledged, but also I think that the person in the street doesn't know that this is going on and doesn't know how good it is. And one of the things that I want to do is to try and raise funds for festivals, or to try and find ways of getting greater media links for work like this. And of course there's no career structure. I mean, I've been sort of at the top of this career structure for 10 years, since I was, 28. And it's not really changed since then. And I think it's up to people like me now to actually use that knowledge and experience and go out and start it all over again, really, but on a different level. I think on a more public level and on a level that actually shows how amazing some of this work is.